Hello and welcome to SPL Express with myself, Abhishek Ravikrishnan, and I'm joined by former professional footballer Rhysh Roshan Rai. Now, Albirex Niigata could seal the title this weekend. The Lion City Sailors could secure continental football next season, and the race for the top four heats up with three teams still in contention. So lots to look forward to. But first, let's take a look at the weekend's results. And it started with Albirex extending that massive goal difference they already have, thrashing Geylang 6-1. Lion City Sailors took a huge step towards finishing second in the league with their win over Tampines Rovers. Hougang's impressive run of form continued with a 1-0 win over Brunei DPMM, while Tanjong Pagar narrowly beat the Young Lions 3-2. So Albirex still with a game in hand and with a 5-point cushion at the top of the league. LCS are second, 4 points ahead of Tampines Rovers. And with 3 games to go, Balestier, Geylang International and Hougang all fighting to finish in the top 4. The 3 teams separated by just 5 points. Here's a look at this weekend's fixtures. Friday sees Tanjong Pagar play Albirex Niigata. Young Lions host DPMM at Jalan Besar Stadium, and Geylang face Balestier on Saturday. And on Sunday, Hougang host Lion City Sailors. So 3 of those 4 matches will have a massive impact on the standings. So let's start with that game, Geylang versus Balestier. It's 5th versus 4th.
Yeah.
Geylang, very good head-to-head record with against Balestier, rather, Roshan.
Yep.
5 wins from the last 5 games. How do you see Geylang coming to this one, and how do you see the game panning out?
They should be confident going to this. I know they're coming into this game off the back of having conceded 6 goals to Albirex Niigata. But they struggled against Albirex all season. And I think they'll look at this as a very different game. Noah Ali in the game against Albirex spoke about mentality. And while we didn't really see it against Albirex, I think we'll see that against Balestier, because they will also know that this is a side they've already beaten twice this season. They scored 3 goals against them in both those matches, so they will have that element of confidence, I think, coming into this one. And it's going to be interesting to see if Balestier can sort of respond and bounce back from their 2 consecutive defeats headed into this game. We know about their quality in attack. They've got good players there. They know how to score goals, but that their defensive issues, it's something that we've talked about all season, and I feel that's something that Geylang can really look to try and exploit.
Well, let's talk about the run-in, because as we mentioned before, these 2 teams are fighting for that fourth spot in the league. Based on the run-in alone, Geylang seem to have the easier run-in, having to play Young Lions and the Lion City Sailors, while Balestier, they have to play Tampines Rovers and the Sailors. Yeah,
they've got a sort of a tougher run-in, Balestier Khalsa, I think, coming into the last 2 games of the campaign, and Geylang have this one, so it's a direct sort of head-to-head.
Yep.
You get the feeling, you get the sense that whoever sort of wins this game will pretty much go on to secure 4th spot, and so I think that will fire up both sides. I think there's an opportunity to secure this. I think Balestier will know how important it is to try and win this game, because they have those tough fixtures coming up for them, and for Geylang International as well. You know, they've got a bit of a cushion in the sense that they're playing Young Lions after this. And then the final game is a tough one against the Lion City Sailors. So this is sort of the match that could sort of decide where 4th place sort of goes to. Amirul Adli coming back for Geylang, I think, is going to make a difference for them. Coming back from suspension, he slots into central defence. That means they can push Pereira into midfield, and that helps their side out. Yamaya is in a good run of goal-scoring form, 9 for the season. He's always a threat in attacking positions for them. Whereas for Balestier, they will be missing Madhu Mohana, who was sent off in that last game. And so he'll be out. So how they sort of move around with that reshuffle in the back line, and the back line, which is already very brittle, is something that I think is going to be fascinating to try and find out when these 2 sides come together.
And where do you think this game is going to be won and lost?
Yeah, I think having to try and, for Balestier, having to focus on stopping Yushi Yamaya on the right-hand side, because of his ability to go on the inside of you, go onto his left foot, or twist away and go on the right. So they are going to have to sort of, with their left-back position, have to make sure that you are going to try and force him out into the wider areas, onto his right. He's very quick, so if he gets you into one-on-one positions, it's going to be difficult to defend. They always have to make sure that they double up on him. So one central midfielder or a winger will have to come in and get tucked in on the inside, so that he cannot cut in onto his left foot easily, and try and show him away from your penalty area. I mean, it all sounds like basics. It all sounds like stuff that you'd be doing on a training ground, but whether they're able to execute on the pitch in that game, remains to be seen, because Peter De Roo has spoken often about how he has to keep reminding players about basics, and the basics of defending and working hard and making sure they get players behind the ball and recovering quickly in those transitional moments. So whether they can sort of do that in this game, again, like I said, remains to be seen whether they've sort of learned any lessons along the way. Whereas Geylang will, I think, try to feed Yamaya as much as they can. They'll use players in the wider positions because Arsha has got a bit of pace as well. He's another one that can be a threat. And so I expect those sort of to be the areas where we could see a bit of action.
Well, you mentioned that the winner of this game is probably going to secure fourth spot. But Hougang are still in with a shout as well. They play the Lion City Sailors this week, and they come into this game of 4 wins on a 4-game winning streak.
That's right. And under Marco, aside from that first game where he lost to Albirex, they've had 4 wins, 4 defeats, and then 4 wins again. So going by that sort of pattern, you'd expect them to be losing this one. They don't have a good record against the Lion City Sailors. I think Hougang have only beaten them once, and that was back in March of 2021, if I'm not mistaken. So Lion City Sailors, I think, go into this game, as with almost all the games, they should be regarded as favourites. And it looks like for them, they are coming into a nice little run of form at the moment. It's going to be a challenge for Hougang. What helps them now is that they've got Maksimovic on the goal trail, and you can see that confidence is starting to come through with him. He gets himself into good positions, which he always was doing, just wasn't able to find the back of the net in his first 4 games, but now he's on a nice run. So when that starts to happen, again, his finishing can come naturally. I always talk about confidence in players. When you do things naturally without really overthinking it, then it becomes a lot easier when you play. Whereas when he wasn't scoring, then, you start to think, I need to hit it this way, I need to hit it that way, I need to take a touch here, take a touch there. Then it becomes a little bit unnatural in that sense. So that bit is going to be helping them, I think, going forward.
Well, you're talking about them going forward. How about at the back? Because Zaiful Nizam, he's had 2 clean sheets in the last 4 matches.
Yeah.
Do you think defensively they've sorted things out?
It's difficult to say because there aren't many sides in the league who have shown a lot of consistency, especially defensively. I mean, it really is tough to say. They've got 2 clean sheets in the last 4 matches, which is encouraging. Zaiful has made some good saves for Hougang, but to look at it as just clean sheets alone can be a little bit misleading at times. They have been sitting a little bit deeper, a little bit tighter, a little bit more compact, without possession, without the ball. And then when they have it under Marco, they tend to try and hit the channels a little bit earlier. They're a little bit more direct with their play. So that is a style, and that could be contributing as well to a little bit more compactness defensively. But again, the consistency, that's only something we can really judge over a period of a few matches. But it is, as you said, it's always encouraging when you're able to pick up clean sheets in these situations. It can only help your defense overall.
Well, Hougang face a Lion City Sailors side who could secure second if they win. And with the Champions League coming up for them this season as well, how important is it for them to try and clinch that second spot early on?
Very important for Lion City Sailors. They need to be playing continental football, and finishing second, I think, will give them an opportunity to do that for next season's campaign, whatever tier it is. It looks like it's tier 2 of the AFC competitions, whatever the name is going to be. We'll find out later. But it's important because this is a side with so much investment. They bring in lots of players, they pay them a lot of money, and they bring in coaches, the staff, the backroom staff, and things like that. So it is important for them to be playing, I think, in multiple competitions and to be dealing with that, especially if you want to sort of build a brand and you want to build the club up to be regarded as one of the better sides in Southeast Asian football. And these are the things that you need to be doing along the way.
Do you think they were the best local team?
Yes. I mean, the table doesn't really lie. With the finances that they have, they should be the best local team. So it's not something that's extraordinary or should be celebrated unless they win the title. Finishing second, I think, is like, now that the title's gone, that's the bare minimum in terms of an accomplishment for the Lion City Sailors. But yeah, I mean, with Živkovic coming in, he's also starting to score goals now, and with him shifting out to the wider positions, it seems like he's enjoying it a little bit more, and it seems like they're able to sort of get the best out of him as well. I thought the first half against Tampines Rovers was close to perfect. 3-0 at half-time. The way they pressed, the way they closed down the spaces as a team really didn't allow Tampines to get into the game until the second half. But more of the performance from the first half. That's more of what we expect and what we like to see from Lion City Sailors.
You talk about the first half. Was it the defensive aspect of their game that actually impressed you more?
Everything. I mean, you talk defensive, and when you say defensive, people think, you sit back and protect your goal. No, defending is from the front, and they squeeze the spaces very well. They press Tampines. If you go back and look at the game, or if you think about that game, how they pressed Tampines high up, they didn't allow Tampines to get into any passing rhythm. Trying to play short out the back, Lion City Sailors were always there constantly. You look at Balestier's goal, for example, taking it off Yasser Hanapi and scoring from range, and that can only happen because they're switched on, they're alert to picking out these mistakes and these errors. And Tampines Rovers, sort of played into that a little bit. You just have a look at how their midfielders dropped so close to their centre backs, and it was three of them. You know, you had Nakamura, you had Yase, and then you had Shah, the three of them just dropping in to try and receive. Whereas you want a bit of movement, you want a bit of space to spread out, make it a little bit more difficult for the Lion City Sailors to defend and to press in those moments. But it sort of played into their hands. But take nothing away from the Sailors. The intensity, the energy was very good. Good defensively as a team, and then obviously when they had the opportunities in attack, the quality in the finishing was there as well.
Well, let's talk about the next game, which will have huge importance. Tanjung Pagar against Albirex Niigata. Albirex Niigata could be crowned champions this weekend with a win here. What do you make of the dominance in the league? Because if they win this, it's going to be their 6th title. Yeah,
it's been so impressive, so impressive. I got a lot of respect for Albirex Niigata, the way they go about things. I have a lot of respect for the way players are developed, the football system in Japan, the way players are developed over there. So much so that, you've got these players who might not necessarily be playing professional football in Japan, coming to Singapore and winning the league. So yes, it's been brilliant, and every season it's a completely new side in a sense. You know, most of the side is new. The coach has to sort of get his ideas across once more and build that into the side. But they've finished the season so strong the last couple of years. Last year as well, you think about it, they went 12 games unbeaten on their way to the title, and then of course they lost to Tampines, but they already sealed up the title. And this season as well, they are 12 games, headed towards 12 games unbeaten if they can pick up a result in this one. So that the consistency in the crunch, when it matters, when it's time to get your side through to the title and cross the line, it's outstanding. It really is. And I think Yoshinaga has perhaps learned some lessons from last year, because when you think about how he's used his squad this campaign,
he's rotated a lot.
He's made lots of changes. He's kept them fresh. And it's shown, it's proven. You know, Tampines have started to fade away because maybe a bit of fatigue, injury issues, a bit of form, dropping at the wrong time. Lion City Sailors, for the most part, we've spoken about this as well, have also generally kept with the same sort of starting 11 in a sense. But Albirex Niigata, the way he's used the squad, the way they look fresh, they look so strong in the run-in, deserved winners. I mean, they've shown incredible consistency throughout this campaign, and that really is the word. You know, you think about their drop points, was only DPMM, I think, that they dropped points against from sides outside the top 3. Yeah. So it's not just the fact that, they only beat Tampines once, Lion City Sailors, they lost to them once, beat them twice. It's where Tampines and Sailors have faltered against sort of the lesser sides. Albirex have actually taken points from all those teams, and they haven't made mistakes in those matches.
Well, you mentioned about how the squad constantly changes. The one constant has been their coach, Kazuaki Yoshinaga, and he's now on course to win his 4th SPL title, which will make him will go on par with Richard Borg, previous coach, who's the most decorated coach in the league's history. Yeah. What do you make of Yoshinaga's impact on this league and what he's brought?
Incredible impact. I know there'll be critics out there who will say, because he's got a team of all foreigners and, they've got better quality and things like that. Yeah, okay. I mean, some of that might be true. They do have players of a better quality, but also then what does it kind of say about the level of professionalism that they've displayed in terms of them training and behaving and playing like actual professional footballers? You know, sometimes we are professional in name only. We don't train, play, and behave like professional players. So you start to see that in the differences when it comes down to winning the games, and that consistency as well. So Yoshinaga, I mean, again, when you have new players coming in year after year, having to sort of get your ideas across in pre-season, and then building that strength throughout the campaign and showing that consistency throughout the campaign, he's unrivaled, really. He's an excellent coach, and it's no surprise that there have been people out there who have, even previously there were rumors about him potentially, taking the Singapore national team job. I mean, that's because of the work that he's done in the league, when in his second spell or whether it's in his first spell. So yeah, just got nothing but respect for the guy.
So that's a discussion for another day, but some exciting matches coming your way. Our feature game of the week, though, is Geylang International versus Balestier Khalsa, 5th versus 4th. That's at our Tampines hub, and our coverage begins from 5:30 p.m. So that's all the time we have for this week's episode. So Albirex Niigata can be crowned champions this weekend. Do tune in to the matches live on our SPL YouTube page. We'll see you again next week on SPL Express.